So welcome back. This is actually the first video of the year. I took a little bit of a pause last year and didn't do a video the last week of the year. I apologize for that, but it's just been so busy, so many things I'm trying to do and adjust. And but we're here back. This is actually going to be, I think, podcast number 5, right? Correct, Adam? 5. And then for podcast 5, we're going to go over a little bit about just a quick wrap up of last year, 2022, and a couple things of maybe what to expect of what we think might be going on in the watch world in 2023. Today, I have here one of my really good friends in this business and in just friends normally alone too, not just the watch world. And his name is Max Bankin. He's actually the owner of International House of Time.
Mic check.
He's the owner of International House of Times, and he's a wholesale only, right?
Yeah.
He's not doing any retail anymore. And he's a guy that's been in this business for how long right now?
Close to 15 years, if not 15 years, something like that.
Yeah, Max is what I pretty much think is one of the, most heaviest and serious wholesale dealers out there. He has a specific product line that he sticks to, and he is a master at his craft. And I've known him for a very long time, and he's helped me a lot throughout the years. And he's also what I call he's pretty much my watch therapist and consultant. Like before I buy anything for myself, a lot of the times I end up calling him and hopefully he talks me out of it. Isn't that right?
It depends, but, I've made a couple mistakes along the way, but you can't win them all, So.
Well, usually if there's been a mistake, it hasn't been because you've told me to buy a watch. And I did a mistake. It's maybe like that one time that I had that green Daytona John Mayer in my hand for $50K, which, by the way, that was a good price at that time, but it was before the rise. And I talked to him. I said, man, you think I should buy this watch? And he said, this watch is garbage. Don't buy it.
And then like 2 weeks later, I'm paying $100,000 for one, sell it for 102.
Yeah, so, that's okay, but at least he played it safe. I would rather it be like that than for me to pay 102 and then, they magically end up going back to 50K. But other than that, he's a master at what he does, man. And I have him here today because I want him to share a little bit of light of things that we talk about and a couple topics that I want to go over. Okay.
That was your little intro there.
Yep.
I appreciate the kind words, sir. A nice intro. Thank you.
It's the truth, bro. I was going to say, Max Bankin in my book is a legend, and he's coming for all you haters out there. You know who you are, the wholesale guy. Okay, so I think that the first thing that I want to go over real quick, because yes, I did do 2 videos, and I usually don't do a follow-up video on a topic, but I feel it's something I still would like to elaborate just a little bit more in this style format where it's just not so like stuffy and in your face, is the whole certified pre-owned program. I feel like that's probably one of the biggest news of the entire year in the watch world that happened in 2022 was when Rolex finally at the last minute had that ace that they had tucked in their sleeve and decided to come out and say, guess what? We are jumping into the pre-owned watch game. And that's something that really freaked everybody out. Now, my biggest thing about it is all the haters always come out and just show their faces when news like this comes out, You start seeing them in the comments and stuff like that. And I usually don't spend time any about that. But yeah, when you got guys putting on there saying, well, I hope that this clears out all you guys in the gray market and wipes you guys. Say goodbye to your income. Say goodbye to your jobs. I mean, I really don't care because, if that's the way you really feel about it, then, that's on you. But now that we're here and it's been already quite some time and we've kind of been able to see where it goes, we're still out here. I haven't seen that we've lost any sales due to this certified pre-owned. And I really don't think that it's going to be a problem. And I actually welcome it. I think it's something that's going to be good for the business. What do you think, Max?
I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. You might have to adapt like you've had to do 100 times before in the last couple of years, which we've all done. And I really don't think it's going to have any effect on my business specifically. It might have an effect minimally on others, but I don't think it's going to be much.
Yeah, I agree. And then some of the other things that I've thought about, which I haven't talked to you about at all, I haven't discussed this point of view on this whole thing, is that I feel that with this certified pre-owned program that they rolled out, they're going to need inventory. So they're going to have to either buy it from clients that are returning it, or the ironic part would be if they actually end up buying it from people like you and me.
Yeah, which could I guess happen potentially, but I doubt, highly doubt.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
You never know because remember, every single one of these Rolex dealers that you go through are not owned by Rolex.
They're privately owned, but there's a lot of rules that they have to follow, and I don't think that Rolex is going to let those trade-ins just fly.
Okay, so that's where I'm trying to get to. So let's just say that they had enough volume of trade-ins that didn't require to buy from anybody in the gray market, whether it's someone like me or strictly a wholesale dealer like you. Fine, no problem. All those watches are going to come in. And, let's just say they're buying 100 watches a month, just to throw a random number, right? Out of those 100 watches, they're going to have to go back to Rolex. We don't know how much time the service is going to take. Maybe it's a faster turnaround.
It will still have all the same flaws, that we've had.
I agree. My question is, and my point is that, okay, so these 100 watches are going to have to go back to Rolex to get serviced. That could take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months, depending on how much of an expedited service they want to give this program, right? So the way I see it is that between the watches that are getting polished and detailed and serviced, and then the watches that they have sitting on the display, which they're going to want to have merchandise on display, I also feel that that's kind of also going to cause a little bit of, we're going to have less watches available because they are going to grab a couple watches and have them on their side. So it's going to limit a bit of the supply. I mean, do you think that that's feasible?
That is interesting, and definitely sounds like it adds up. Could be, makes sense.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if there's 1,000 watches right now in the whole world, and Rolex is buying right now 100 of them for their certified pre-owned, between the time they get polished and they want them sitting on display, that's 100 less watches that's going to be out there circulating. Yeah. So it will limit a bit of the supply. Yeah. Which hence I think it's good and would help bolster the current industry and the current prices. Another thing is going to be, who are they going to really sell these pre-owned watches? Are you going to be able to just walk into an AD, never done any business with them, and buy at market price a Panda? Or do you think they're going to have that for their clients?
I don't know.
I know.
I have no clue.
I know we know, but
like the thing is with these situations, the longer that I'm in this business, I realize, I only know what I know, and I really don't know that much. You know what I'm saying? Like everything in the last couple of years, I thought I knew what was gonna happen, and the complete opposite happened. So anything can happen, any scenario can flip any way, any direction at any time right now, especially with the way it is. So.
I mean, I totally agree with you on that. I had a gentleman come in today that was, I was selling him a watch, and he said, "What do you think is going to come out this year from Rolex? Like, what are your predictions?" And I said, honestly, I don't even know anymore. Before, would they be able to kind of like guess, hey, wouldn't it be cool if they came out with this? Nowadays, I don't even know what they're going to release. It's like, we don't even know what they're going to do. And I understand what you're saying. My guess would be that, I think they're going to hold these certified pre-owned watches with these dumb white cards and blah, blah, blah up on a pedestal. And they're going to want you to, if you buy them, you're going to have to be their clients. I don't think, and if they do sell the watches to just anybody that can walk in, meaning anybody could just walk into an 80 and buy a certified pre-owned, then it's really going to cause, a problem with supply. Not a problem, but they're going to definitely need to buy more watches.
Sounds
and you don't have to agree with me, by the way. You can stop me at any moment.
No, I mean, it's definitely, there's just so many factors at play here that there's no way to say that this is what's going to happen with this thing. It could be exactly what you're saying and 100 other things happening at the same time.
Absolutely.
In a different way. So
there could be other factors. The world could go to end, or people don't want to buy watches all of a sudden, then everybody is hurt. But
I have no clue,
man. I agree with you.
All I do is buy and sell for today. That's all I can do.
that is correct. And I would say, out of a lot of people that I know, I'm not pretty sure I've met too many people that can buy and sell in a monthly or weekly or daily basis, the amount of watches that Max does. I mean, Max, I always say, does Rolex by the pound. I mean, pretty much. It's almost like when you go to your local feed store and they just shovel up feed, he does that, but with Rolex. It's just by quantity, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to do a final wrap up on that whole certified pre-owned. I think a year from now or 6 months from now, or is when we'll really know what's going to happen. But I can guarantee you that in the long run, both you and me are going to end up selling these certified pre-owns with the cards and everything, because
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
see people say it on the comments, you're like, well, no, because they're going to force you to then trade it back. I'm like, listen, man,
Yeah.
people sell stuff all the time and they just want to get rid of them. And whoever pays at that moment is who they sell it to. So it will be interesting if later on you're going to see on my personal Instagram or whatever, some of these certified pre-owned watches for sale with the new warranty card.
Definitely a possibility.
Okay, so I think one of the other last things that I want to talk about from 2022, because this is a new year and we don't want to, talk too much about that, but what is the deal? I was able to try one yesterday on my wrist, okay? I have a video here. I don't know if I showed you the video that I did yesterday of the new 50 millimeter deep sea challenge. I mean, have a look at what this looks on my wrist. This is actually what it looks like.
I haven't even seen one in person, so I don't know what it looks like, but it looks like an Invicta crossed with a Breitling, crossed with a I don't know, but it looks horrible. Yeah, it looks horrible.
The one thing I would tell you is that I tried to take several pictures in many different angles, and the camera does not do it justice.
Yeah, with that crystal. It's hard to take pictures of it.
The thing is that when you take a picture of it with the phone, it looks a certain size, but it looks so much bigger in person when you're holding it in your hand.
Wow.
That it's unbelievable. You cannot get the real depth and dimension of it when you're holding it. You have to.
Does it look better in person or no?
It looks bigger in person.
So, but you didn't answer my question. Does it look better in person than it does in pictures or no?
Look, the one I tried on wasn't sized. It was brand new. It was actually full stickered, right? And I ended up tightening the band like that, and I put it on my wrist, just casually acting like if I had it on, and it looked like the most ridiculous thing in the world. I even told Keon, I'm like, could you imagine just chilling here like this, and just like I'm wearing this, like I'm serious.
I mean, you do have really big guys that even a deep sea looks small on them. So maybe that was made for the intention to fill that little gap there for the big people. I don't know. For all the big people, we want to include everybody these days. So we're gonna make watches for the big people.
The thing about it, when I looked at it yesterday, and a couple things I realized. Number one, the inside of the bracelet, and you'll remember this when you see it. The inside of the bracelet, the finish is incredibly sharp, which I would never thought I'd see something from Rolex that the inside cut of the bracelet is extremely sharp. It almost looks like it would cut you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually pretty light because it's titanium for being that big. It's pretty light. It's very well balanced. The watch is fucking huge. Now, when I saw it, I realized that it brings a special box. Okay, it looks from the outside like a normal Rolex box, except when you open it, instead of it having that little flap that comes down, it's permanent, and in there it has embossed like a total logo that says Deep Sea Challenge and everything. So when I saw that, what I thought to myself was, you know what? Like, this is a watch that just belongs in the box. It's just,
to look at it. Yeah, it's one of those ones, a conversation piece.
Correct. I thought about it and I said, as much as I've thrown shade on this watch and said that it's too big and that it's ridiculous, I also don't doubt that in the long run, depending on how many they make, if they bring them out everywhere, then that would obviously work against this. But that perhaps can be like a collector piece.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of like in his office he has we call it the museum cabinet, where he's got this museum cabinet with 3 layers, where he's got Rolex memorabilia, Omega memorabilia,
stuff,
and Cartier
stuff,
all really cool stuff. I feel like I'm drawn to look at it every time I go over there.
Nothing crazy, but it's interesting to look at.
Yeah, but they're hard stuff to get.
Yeah, a little bit.
They are. They're just really random little memorabilia. Well, when I see this type of watch, what I think of is that. I think of it as just like a conversation piece. In the future. Like, oh yeah, look, this is the 50 millimeter that they came out 20 years ago. That was just to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with the retail price of $28,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay to take a gamble to hope that in the future it's going to be something that's collectible.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take that gamble. But
You see, this is exactly what he does when I go to talk to him to try to buy a watch for myself. He's very to the point, which is
listen,
why I ask him for his opinion.
Yeah, but the problem is my view on the business is very different from most people's. It's very different from what you do. I like to take risks. I do take risks on stuff, but I like to play it safe, man. I like to keep my money.
I
mean?
I do too. I do too.
So
I do too.
I do take some risks though here and there.
I do too. And well, speaking of risk, I mean, just to switch the topic and talk about some of the new stuff. Since you wanted to talk about taking risks, why don't you tell us a little bit about that watch on your wrist? That when you told me, what you said was, I took a gamble on a watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I bought the right piece or if everything is correct, but I saw a picture, I liked it, and I bought it. And he's actually wearing it today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it and what you think about that risk you took there?
Okay, so I got offered a Daytona cream dial 116520 with service papers and Asian actual papers. The pictures were okay. The watch looked okay, and it looked like the dial was, pretty colored. Usually when you see one of these watches.
So wait. Explain what a cream dial is before you continue.
Okay, so 116520s usually are just white or black. This cream anomaly is something that happened, could be, I guess, due to the paint that they used in this year, which is a P Serial 2001, that had some type of reaction with, I guess, sun, oxygen, I don't know, both, whatever. But the dial ends up turning to this cream color. And this is one of the creamiest ones that I've ever seen. The sub dials are gold. It's just a very special watch, and I'm more into the neo vintage stuff, which we've talked about a bunch of times, which is like post 1990. So this kind of stuff gets me excited, and I decided to throw down. I liked the watch. The vibe was right. It felt right. I grabbed it, and this is in the personal collection for sure. So
yeah, he mentioned to me. He said, "Look, I bought a cream, Daytona. The problem was with the pictures. It was like, is it really that cream? Is it not? Because we see sometimes where they have them like in these books that are like museums, and they call them cream, but you really can't see it.
Everybody's like, oh, it's a cream dial, and you have to like put it like in 30 different angles and types of light to see that it's cream. Like this one, you can see it's cream from a mile away.
Yeah. So he was telling me, he's like, well, we have to see what it looks like when it gets here. And then sure enough, when the watch arrived, it is cream, but like super cream. And then completely looked at it, with the loop. There has been no like alterations. There's been nothing to try to like, accelerate this process or anything of that nature. So I like this so much. I immediately was like, what you going to do with that watch? It's like, I'd stay in the collection. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. I've kind of been on the fence, the side of the fence where I'm tending to keep more of the watches that I really like than sell them, which is a good and a bad thing. Your money is there. I don't keep too much, but, yeah, this is definitely a keeper right here.
For the record, I mean, not to put him on blast, but this is something that he's been finally doing after I told him for years that you should keep some watches for yourself. Why not, right?
I mean, at this point, life is short. The last couple of years taught me a lot. I made a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. So my view on stuff is a little different now. But, I'm just enjoying some stuff a little bit more than I would have in the past, instead of being just 100% business, putting a little fun hobbyist style kind of deal in there too. So
I mean, it's always there. You can always sell it if you want later.
Yeah, no, I mean that, I collect stuff. I always collected. You see my parts collection, boxes.
He's probably got the biggest parts collection and box collection. I think he's got the biggest collection I've ever seen. And you're probably wondering, like, well, what do you mean by parts? I'm talking about links, bracelets, bezels, inserts, like you name it.
Dials.
It's like dials, a lot of dials. I mean, some of my most important pieces that I've been able to get with dials and so forth, he's the one that's been able to help me with that. So, and they're not for sale, so don't be calling them up and asking them for dials, in case you guys are already Googling and trying to call his business. He's not going to sell them to you. Not what he does. He's kind of you're right. And when it comes to parts, you've always been a hoarder.
Yeah. No, because that's it makes the way I operate easier. You know, I can do a lot of things because I have so many parts that I can use to fix watches
Yeah.
that other people do not have access to. And it's a lot of money to keep tied up, but I'm not planning on getting out of the business anytime soon. My money is there. I make money with that stuff. So it's in my best interest to keep a lot of those things around.
Yeah, I mean, and he does take gambles a lot of time and buys watches just off a couple pictures, and then when you get the watch, you find out that maybe the clasp is incorrect or the band was the wrong one. So then he's able to have the right parts to make it whole.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I buy a large volume of watches that need to be fixed, that have minor issues, that are from the 90s, that are really a hurdle for somebody that doesn't have these access to these pieces and the watchmakers and all that. I happen to have those pieces, and it makes me able to make money on stuff that other people would have passed on.
Okay, so just like a random question here. I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want, but what do you think is the most amount of watches you've ever bought in one day?
I mean,
Some of those like big orders that you've done.
yeah.
That way we can just put it to scale to the people watching, so they just understand the levels. There's levels to this.
It's probably I would assume maybe between 200 and 300, but that's a day.
I thought it was gonna be 100.
No, but
I don't doubt it.
yeah, I mean, that would be a day where I had some appointments. I was meeting some serious people. I went to meet them, and I bought a ton of watches. It's not like I bought them over the counter. You know, I don't buy a lot from random local dealers. I don't like dealing with them. I buy from a few people that I have a long-term relationship with, and you know, we just go to town.
Wow, 300 pieces. I mean, also keep in mind that it doesn't necessarily mean that they're 300 Nautiluses.
No, it's mostly 300 ladies two-tone day chests. But look, I sell a load of ladies two-tone day chests.
And it's a lot of money too. When
you know what I mean?
Up.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna just buy 5 of them. I'm gonna buy. I'm the type of buyer that's a value buyer. I'll buy 100 ladies two-tone day chests if their price is right, because it's not like they're gonna expire or anything, and I sell them all the time. So we always need ladies two-tones, so I buy ladies two-tones.
It's crazy to think that although I personally don't sell, at least my market and my my clientele, I don't sell a ton of ladies two-tones, but just by the last 8 or 9 years, the amount of two-tones that I've seen you with lady sizes that I know come in and go out, it actually like just mind boggles me how many of those watches actually get sold. I mean, are they just... I think most of them maybe go to like Middle America and some of these other places, because it's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they sell.
Yeah, they sell. I mean, I don't make a ton of money on them, but everything adds up, which is the business that I'm in. I do volume. I like any profit, small profit, medium profit. I don't care. And I'm not about buying watches because they're cool and want to post them and be like, I got this watch. Like, no, I don't give a about that. I just want to buy and sell watches. I want to make money. I want my office to be happy, my employees to be happy, everybody to be happy. I just
That's something that some of those like COVID dealers need to learn. We had a lot of those come in and a lot of them that left. Actually, I feel like the business has been a little bit smoother and quiet the last 6 months. I feel like there's not so much of that noise, and I don't get so many of the calls from the watch flippers just being obnoxious, trying to like squeeze out every last dollar.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've talked about this 100 times, but this whole sneaker waiting online situation for sneakers at retail has become like a very accepted thing, and those kids that were doing that are now adults. And now they have a little bit more money, so they've kind of shifted over from that into the Rolexes. And, I don't do that kind of business, and I'm not involved in it in any way, so it has no effect on what I do. But it is pretty interesting to see what happened, because that, the spike and all that craziness that happened was 100% due to that. I don't know, what would you call them? Gen Zers?
He's been talking about this actually since before COVID. He's been saying it for a while about the influx of, these new people. He's never been bothered by it. He's always been the type that's told me he welcomes it. He doesn't care that somehow he's gonna still make some money off of it. And
The more money around me, the more money you make.
and I've always also kept that in my mind too. I said, to an extent, he's clearly right. But one thing I would say is that something that he's done and I've also done, and he still helps me with some of the watches that I don't know so much about, and then I help him with the watches that maybe he doesn't know so much about, is you got to learn the product and you got to be a professional, where these guys really don't know the product that well.
I mean, yeah, to buy and sell brand new watches is easy. You know exactly what you're getting. There's not going to be a difference in condition. They're all the same. So it's easy to know what you can buy it for and what you can sell it for. In what I do, there is a little bit more knowledge that you need to have, let's say, to be able to move around and do exactly what I do. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys aren't even interested in these watches that I buy. So I'll buy trade-ins from, people that are into all the big watches, Richard Milles, Patek's. I've sold expensive watches, but it's not what I do. It's not my business. So, yeah.
I absolutely. I think that if there's one person that has definitely, showed me that, is that there's money in all watches at any prices. And he's a perfect example of that.
I would say so.
So, look, something I want to bring up is that I was noticing, just to go on and change the topic here, I was noticing that the last 2 months of 2022, I was getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of requests to buy. People were requesting a lot of different pieces, but I was having a lot of problems finding the merchandise. And then in the famous dealer chats and all that, I felt like most of the merchandise that was available was mostly in Europe and out of the country. And I was kind of like, I was a little bit confused about that why is it that if sales haven't been as great for some of the dealers as they wanted to in the past, and I was getting a lot of calls, I couldn't source stuff within the States. I mean, what do you think is the reason that it was just kind of crickets the last 2 months within the chats of dealers putting stuff for sales?
I mean, I think a lot of people just decided to back off a bit. Things have just been so up and down and uncertain for so long. A lot of people lost a lot of money. I mean, I lost a lot of money on a lot of pieces. There are people that lost hundreds of thousands of dollars after everything kind of came down on just one watch. You know what I mean? On just one single watch in their inventory. Luckily, one of my biggest losses weren't too bad. I had one that was 25, and then maybe I had another one that was 30. And then I had a bunch of little other ones too, but it's just been a tough time, and it's very uncertain right now. A lot of people just backed off from buying. There hasn't been a lot of merchandise on the market. On top of that, I continued to buy because I buy crap, and that shit always tends to sell. So I just keep buying it, but it's crazy out there. It's weird.
And what is it? Because you mentioned this to me the other day, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what? He's absolutely right. It's true. It happens every year. What is it about the end of the year?
Yeah, the Christmas thing. Yeah.
Then everybody feels that January it's gonna be like. Oh.
I'm guilty of it too. For years, every year I would think, after Christmas everything is gonna be done, and it's never happened. I realized, so I was like, you know what? It. I'm gonna just keep this train going and keep buying. Being conservative and not doing anything too crazy, but just continue to buy and offer product. And I was surprised at the amount of watches that we did sell through the end of the year. I didn't do any kind of like record numbers or anything like that, but we did good. So
yeah, I think the thing is that since it's hard to gauge this. If this was a chart and it was scientific, the last 3 years, are very weird looking. But way before that, all the other consistent years, always in December, since it was the holidays, merchandise would kind of disappear and it would get expensive. Like the merchandise would get expensive. And I guess the reasoning would be that things got expensive. Once Christmas is over, January, everything's going to fall. And you're right. Usually January tends to be pretty decent for me as well. I mean, it just kind of continues going. I mean, that's just the way it's been for me always.
Yeah.
And so I guess the doomsday prepping from the other dealers that the world's going to end in January hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. And, listen, at the end of the day, it's only money, right? that's what this last couple of years taught me, man. It comes and it goes, bro. So, spend your time wisely. No,
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, it's only money. We say that now, but about 4 or 5 years ago, if you would have told me that, you would have told him that, it would have been a little bit different because, we had a different start, but still kind of started from the bottom pretty much, from just being a couple guys. He's younger than me, and I think that, he's a couple years away from taking over some of the big guys in that line of business, if not already, putting some pressure on there. But it's hard when you're all the way from the bottom and you're thinking about, well, it's only money. You would have told that's 5 6 years ago, but fuck you mean it's only money?
I mean it would sting to buy a lunch, $10. I drove around all over the state of Florida, traveling, trying to buy one little Cartier Tank Française for $2,000 to flip it for $22. That's what kind of shit that I was on. And
I feel that market is already over. That market where back in the day you can backpack around different type of pawn shops and stuff and get deals and resell them. I feel like that market's already kind of over.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can still go out there and I'm sure you buy a couple things. It's not easy. It never was, but
of course.
There's stuff out there. It's just not that easy, to go find it. You got to go to a lot of places, meet a lot of people. Even if they have stuff that you could buy, they don't want to sell it to you because you don't have the relationship with them yet, shit like that. So,
all right. Another thing I want to mention in case you guys don't know, I don't know if you want me to say this, but actually, this particular unit that I'm in right now, which is in the Seabowl building, second floor, 224. That's my quick plug and shout out during this. Watch Eric. But this actually was Max's store. This is what, the second store that you had for International House of Time?
So we originally started down the hall, and I was on the same side almost as Barry, next to the elevator, in a little tiny spot. It was like 350 square feet, maybe something like that. And that was a few years into the business already. I had been driving around, being a little backpack dealer, going to shows and just trying to buy watches and, make things work. And everything kind of snowballed. You just got to put one foot in front of the other. And
yeah, I remember. Correct. Absolutely. I remember that previous to right before the pandemic lockdown and stuff like that. He had already grown his operation, and this is not a large store.
Well, we haven't even said that yet. Did you say that we started, that I was here before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Oh yeah. That's where I'm getting at. That's where I'm getting at. Yeah. I'm getting to the fact that, he grew the store from there. Then he was here. And you had how many employees inside this place?
So this place, how many square feet is this?
I don't know, but how many employees did you have here?
I
think it's 400 square feet or 450.
Is it 400?
Yeah,
so my other spot was like smaller than this.
200.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
How many did you have here?
We
6?
had one. No.
5?
No, I only had at this point, it would be a 3. I had 3 people out in the front here, and I was in the back by myself. And then I hired Pancho, and it was 4.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so it was 4. There was 4 people here.
Yeah, 5 including me.
5 including you. Yeah. And you had your pet here, dog, as well.
Had my dog here every day.
And your first son was here a lot too.
Yes.
I know I used to come see him all the time as well.
Yeah.
And what happens is he started growing out of this spot, and he wanted to get something else. I wouldn't say the politics, and sometimes in leasing buildings and stuff like that gets a little bit complicated. So he moved, and I said, you know what, Max, I think it would be a good idea if I moved over here. And thanks to him, I'm able to be here, and the rest is history. And I kind of did a little bit of a remodel, And he actually
Nah,
moved to a
man.
beautiful place.
I mean, I got super lucky with my spot. I think this worked out perfect for you. I mean, the vibe in here is great. I had it. It looked like, I don't even know what it looked like. It looked like a bomb went off. But yeah, he redid it, made it nice, did his style with it, and the vibe is awesome in here. And he's done really well since he went on his own, and that's good to see, man. I really I'm happy about that.
Thank you, man. When he ended up leaving here, another like quick little bullet point, just because people like to know this type of stuff, was that the actual desk that I work in every day was, when he took everything out, he said, "I'm leaving two things. I'm leaving one of the safes, and if you want, you can keep my desk." And I said, "Okay." And then he told me, he said, "This was my first desk that I ever had, and I remember because I remember that marble top from the small store."
Yeah.
And he said, this desk, I've made a lot of money on this desk, and it has good energy, and I think that you should keep it. And out of respect, I said, "You know what? That's a good idea." And I actually kept the desk and revamped it a little bit. And actually, I kind of love my desk. So I'm glad you gave it to me, and thank you very much, man.
No problem, man. I hope you make a lot more on there in the future. That's a good desk with a good track history, so you gotta keep that one around.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of watches that have gone across that desk. I mean, I would probably say in the thousands. Not because of me, but probably because
Oh
of you.
yeah, no, I mean thousands for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so for the last segment, we're gonna do. I don't want to say it's a game, but maybe more like a challenge. It's something I want to do with Max here, where I'm gonna name 10 watches, and he's gonna just give us, hopefully, a one-word reaction or just few words for a reaction. Now, keep in mind that I don't want anybody's feelings to get hurt at home because, this is just a personal opinion, and if you like this watch, I mean, it is what it is, and we're just trying to get an idea of what is inside his head for these pieces. So they're going to do mostly Rolexes because that's kind of like what your forte is, I don't want to go too far off beyond that. But the first one's going to be a green Daytona. All right. The next one's going to be...
What, you didn't like that, Keon?
Actually, I take that back. I'm gonna change a little bit from the Rolex. I'm gonna go to some other ones too. The next one's gonna be a Breitling Super Avenger.
Bitch ass.
With such a big watch, that's the way you feel?
Yeah.
You don't feel dated, old school,
Chunky,
late?
like just a hunk of metal. Like you got a fucking beam on your arm with them things, bro.
Transformer on the wrist.
Yeah, bro.
All right, next we're gonna do the Panda Daytona.
Don't like.
Don't like. He does not
not
like.
a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Okay, Tudor Black Bay.
Tudor Black Bay. Difficult customer.
Difficult customers. That's what you feel. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Oh, this is just, these guys are the guy. They take out their fucking microscopes and they're looping this shit, and they find a little tiny little anything and they want to return it. It's a tough price point and a tough crowd.
Hand tags.
But yeah, they are what I call the hang tag crew. That do tend to pull out the lotion, the Jergens, and the napkins when they see a green hang tag.
Enough.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Nice case back sticker, some sharp lugs.
All right.
They're over there just
Jergens. Oh Lord. This is gonna be like a random watch. It's gonna be a Quorum Bubble.
wow, you spicing it the up, huh? Quorum Bubble.
Yeah, one word. What would you say?
Interesting.
Interesting. All right, there you go. I mean, it is interesting if you see it from far. You're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I never would wear one, I don't think, but I might buy one and just like look at it.
Okay, there
They're
you
kind
go.
of cool boxes.
There you go. All right, there you go. They had theme ones too. You know,
they were kind of cool back in the day.
I even had a skeleton at one point.
Yeah.
A Quorum Bubble skeleton.
I've had a few.
I actually traded that into you as partial payment for my Yachtmaster MOP Ruby Dow.
Yeah.
I know you don't remember.
My memory is not as good as yours.
All right.
but-
Next one we're gonna have is the rose gold olive day date. Okay.
Shit, like not like shit, like the watches, shit, like just oh shit, like I own 3 of these right now.
Yeah, I get it. You got burnt by them, huh?
Yeah, that one was
right.
a stinger.
All right, so it's a stinger.
Stinger.
Shit, stinger, I guess. Okay, GMT root beer vintage.
Oh, love them.
Love them. There you go. Explorer 1 36 millimeter.
Suspect.
Suspect. Okay, so we're gonna call it sus.
Yeah, sus as
Okay, all right.
sus as
All right. All right. And then I'm going to throw another one in the mix, and it's going to be a Cartier Santos XL.
Cartier Santos XL. Is this now? Is
Chrono.
this,
Chrono.
Santos Chrono on a strap?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Big energy, bro.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, bro.
You feel like if right now in
Yo, you
2023,
see some dude come through, bro.
2023.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
So it's BDE. That's the word.
Yeah,
BDE.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what to say about that watch, honestly. It's just it's like whatever.
Okay, guys, bro. So the last one's gonna be a 36 millimeter day date in any finish.
Solid.
Solid, yes, absolutely. A 36 millimeter is a classic. So I figured I wanted to see what was in the mind of Max with these last 10 watches. I mean, it's something I came up with here on the fly. I actually wrote it real quick in one of these cuts. But anyways, that's it for today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want to say that 2023 is going to be hopefully a positive year. And don't let all that energy from the media and all the doomsday stuff saying that everything's going to be horrible. You know, we're going to make the best out of everything, and 2023 is going to be a great year. So I want to thank you guys for being with us here today, and I want to also thank Max Bankin from International House of Time for also joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
and if
it.
you like this video, like and share it. Also, if you haven't already, I don't understand why, subscribe to my YouTube channel.